Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I use the tools in TradeLocker to analyze my charts and ultimately take a position. TradingView is integrated into TradeLocker, which makes it super convenient instead of you having to go back and forth through TradingView, then back to TradeLocker just to take a position. So for example here, we have TradingView right here, and then we have TradeLocker right here. TradingView again is integrated within this. So everything that I marked here, I can definitely mark on TradeLocker too. Again, this just makes it super easy because if you already have this pulled up, whether it's through the web browser or the TradeLocker app on your desktop, you can place positions as soon as you're done marking up the chart. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the tools, especially if you're a beginner and you don't necessarily know what each tool is used for. Because every trader uses different types of tools. It just depends on your trading style, and this is something that you're going to have to just try out over time to see what you like and what you resonate with. There's no right or wrong way of of course, marking up the chart. So right here, we do have the candles. For me, obviously, I prefer regular candles. I will actually switch to the line chart here and there. Like if you guys know me, I do have this again. I teach this in my private mentorship community that I do use the line chart in certain situations. So this is cool. Under choppy market conditions, I'll use the line chart. But there's so many different things that you could use as far as your candles and how you reprice. But we're just going to stick with regular candlesticks. If you're someone that uses indicators, they have indicators here. If you don't, like me, I don't really use any indicators on my chart here. So that's fine. We'll just leave it blank. And then we have trend lines. I use a lot of this, by the way, guys. The majority of my markups is really, okay, the main tools that I use in my markups, and I keep my markups pretty simple. I don't use nothing fancy. Like it's not a whole lot on my chart because I like to keep it very minimal. But you will see me using a lot of the trend line, a lot of the horizontal ray. I will use the rectangle from time to time, and I use a lot of the curve. Curve is just to point out the direction for me trend wise, and I like to use this path shape thing because it also helps me kind of anticipate where I might see price going. It gives me good direction in that sense. And I'll use the eclipse sometimes just for me to point out where liquidity might be sitting, whether that's equal highs or equal lows. And then I'll use the call out. I'll use this call out a lot too. So if you want to pay attention to a certain area, for example, maybe you're paying attention to this current high, so this current high right here, maybe you're paying attention to that and you want to kind of call it out on your chart. What I like to do is I'll just do that. And then the cool thing is, again, you can just change your color on here too, right? So I usually have like, and you can customize it too. So if you have a custom color that you guys prefer or whatever, you're able to kind of customize that here. How I like to use my horizontal ray is I like to place my horizontal ray at, let's say, highs and lows, right? So I'll place it, like if I'm looking at this high in particular, I'll place it as that as my high. And if I'm looking at a specific low, just major areas of highs and lows. So if I'm on the daily time frame, let's go to a higher time frame. This is the 15 minutes. So if we go to a higher time frame here, then I really want to pay attention to, okay, what was the previous highest point or the daily high, previous daily high, and then I'll just mark maybe like the current low, just so I know an area that I'm currently like price is currently trading in between. I would like to see this, so I'll use a lot of the horizontal rates for that. Trend line I use for liquidity as well to kind of spot trend line liquidity. So you see kind of trend line forming here. This is typically what I'll use that trend line for. I use a lot of liquidity and rate a lot of liquidity in my framework and my strategies. So a lot of the times I'll use like a dotted line just to kind of represent my liquidity in that way. And let me just go ahead and change this black. I'm really anal on my colors, guys. So yeah, I'll use it as a dotted line just to represent liquidity for me. And if it's like a break of structure, I'll use like a solid line. So if we see price breaking structure, I'll typically use it like this. So let me go back here. Let's find a simple break of structure. And again, I'll just use that trend line. And I'll usually just change it to that solid line. However you guys want to use it, however, again, it resonates with you, that's fine. And if we use a rectangle tool here, this is really to just draw like zones. So zone areas, you see area maybe holding at this area here, this is where I would typically use that rectangle tool for zones like this. And then again, you're able to change the color if you want to. And I'm going to change the border as Well, yeah. Yep, so you can kind of change it like this, however you guys want. But that's typically what I use the rectangle tool for as well. Just like looking at areas maybe price might be holding at, so you can kind of use it like that. It's just super easy and convenient that you can use all of this in one place, and you can still trade right after you're done with your markup. And you can essentially open up the order panel and just place a position. These are pretty much all the tools that I use. If you want to measure how far a range is, so for example you want to measure how many pips that this high is to, let's say, this low, you'll use that ruler tool to the left here and it'll tell you right here. So this is about 117 bars, or it says 7 bars here, but you would like to pay attention to this right here to the left. This is a pip count. That's 117 pips, right? From this high that I measured to this low. So that's cool. And then if you want to also use your long and short position tool, this is here too. So if you're projecting buys at this area, you can use a long position tool and you'll place where exactly you'd want to place your buy at. That'll be like your entry. And let's say this is before you take a trade, you want to just see the projection and see if you have a good risk reward, if it looks like a good trade that you might want to take. This is cool too because you can go ahead and drag your stop loss. Let's say I don't want to see if I see price moving past this, then I know it's not going to come back. So let's place a stop loss here and let's kind of like take that loss and secure that. And also your targets on your take profit, right? So you're going to go ahead and move this to the top here. However, you see your target or wherever you see your target going to, you're going to go ahead and just kind of drag in. This is what it looks like. And if you want to change your colors for this as well, you'll just double click on that. You'll hit style and then you can choose your colors for this too, right? So you can go ahead and choose like, I think, yeah, I usually have mine like gray, and I have the target color my purple, right? So I'll just kind of do it like that. Again, you can switch around the colors if you want, but it all does the same thing. And the cool thing too is it actually shows you your risk to reward. So it says risk to reward ratio here. It says 8.49. So that's almost a 1 to 9 on this position, which is cool. So you can see it through there. And then if you like how this is looking, this is cool. You can leave this on here and then you can go ahead and let's just take a position based off of what we have marked here. Okay, so again, go to the order panel here. If you like what you see and this is kind of what you're projecting, let's hit buy here, confirm that, and then you can match it to what you have right here on your long position tool. So for stop loss, again, we're going to click on open position, we're going to check on that stop loss, we're going to check on that take profit, and we're going to drag it. So your take profit, we see price going up to here, and it shows you again how much you'd make if price does hit your take profit, and then it also shows you how much you'd lose if price ends up hitting your stop loss, right? So 164 to make 1,273. If that looks good to you, you like how that looks, go ahead and click confirm, and bam, you have everything kind of set up right here in line with what you just marked. You can just monitor your position from here, but that's how I use these tools to the left. But that is really the only tools that I utilize on the left side here. Again, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing crazy. It's just simple areas that I'm looking for.